and welcome to 2K Sports Studios. I'm Greg Gumbel with Clark Kellogg. We're here with the 2K Sports NCAA Selection Show. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. But before we unveil the brackets for this season, here's a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. There's certainly one big shift that we'll be talking about. We have a new team in the top 25 this week. The Southern Miss Golden Eagles break into the poll as the number 25 team. The poll voters have had their say in the national ranking since November. The time has come to hand over the reins to the selection committee. It's time to talk about the topic that has a lot of players and coaches holding their breath right now, the NCAA tournament bubble. These are the 10 teams that aren't worried as much about where they'll be playing as if they'll be playing. Clark, who jumps out at you there?
Georgia Tech should be considered among the best of the major conference teams not holding an automatic bid. But there are plenty of non-power conference teams knocking on the door that may prevent them from getting an invitation.
And we have a few more teams in similar position, right, Clark?
Texas A&M did just enough to get on the bubble, but I'm not sure they did enough to get off the bubble. There may have been a few too many bumps in the road for them.
I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. The USC Trojans are the top overall seed, and they will play in the East Regional. They begin the tournament as the dominant team in college basketball. They've been ranked number 1 in the media poll for the past 3 weeks. Let's see if they can live up to everyone's expectations. On to the second number 1 seed, who will play in the South Regional. The Florida Gators are seeking their 3rd NCAA championship in school history. The Georgetown Hoyas are our 3rd number 1 seed, and they'll play in the Midwest Regional. They're back in the tournament again, and no doubt they'll be feeding off the experience of last year's appearance as they try to get to the Final Four this year. And finally, our 4th number 1 seed will play in the West Regional. The Connecticut Huskies are in the tournament field as a number 1 seed for the 4th time in the history of their program. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the East Regional will play the winner of the South Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Midwest Regional will play the winner of the West Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April 3rd. Then it'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night, April the 5th. Any surprises in there for you, Clark?
Well, when you see the selection committee deviate from the top 4 teams in the media poll, it's a little surprising. They've opened themselves up to some criticism with these picks.
So, with the number 1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the brackets. First up, we take a look at the East Regional. The USC Trojans are the top seed, finishing at 26-7. They were conference tournament champions in the Pac-10. They will take on the winner of the opening round play-in game between Illinois Chicago with 13 wins. And now the number 8 seed, the South Carolina Gamecocks, come into the tournament 6th in their conference during the regular season and finish 2nd in their conference tournament. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Mercer Bears, who finished 2nd in their conference tournament, finishing at 23-7. NC State comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 22-10. And they will take on the 12th seed from the Missouri Valley Conference, the Bradley Braves, with 17 wins. Syracuse enters the field as the number 4 seed from the Big East. It's yet another appearance in the brackets for a school that's no stranger to the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin, finished the season with 19 wins.
The Syracuse Orange are a team that is just so powerful and strong up front. I would put their front court up against just about any other teams in the nation right now. It's always good to have strong guard play, but if you ask most coaches, I guarantee you they take the good big man over the good little man most times. Their interior play should serve them very well in this competition.
The Villanova Wildcats are in as the number 6 seed. They'll be taking on the number 11 seed, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, with 19 wins. Washington comes in as the number 3 seed, finishing at 22-10. New Mexico State comes in to face them at number 14 with 16 wins in the tournament championship of the WAC. Our number 7 seed is from Conference USA. The Southern Miss Golden Eagles had a tremendous year that included a regular season championship. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Indiana Hoosiers, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing in 22 and 11. Next up is the number 2 seed. The Duke Blue Devils are the conference tournament champions from the ACC. They'll be going up against the number 15 seed, the Murray State Racers, with 18 wins. This will be their 14th appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. What a tremendous regional final we'd have in this bracket if the number 1 and 2 seeds here make it through the first 3 rounds unscathed. That could be one of the games of the tournament. Next up, we'll take a look at the South Regional. The Florida Gators are the top seed, finishing at 26 and 8. They were conference tournament champions in the SEC. They'll take on the Morgan State Bears, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their first appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. Missouri comes in as the number 8 seed, finishing at 21 and 11. Notre Dame comes in to face them at number 9 with 22 wins in the tournament championship of the Big East. Arizona State enters the field as the number 5 seed from the Pac-10. This marks their 13th appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 12 seed, the Tribe of William and Mary, finished the season with 20 wins.
The Arizona State Sun Devils are going to provide serious matchup problems to any team that doesn't have depth and defensive ability at both guard spots. They have outstanding backcourt play at both ends of the court. It's the main reason they've made it this far, and they're going to have to maintain that form if they want to do some damage in this tournament.
Alabama comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 23 and 9. And they'll take on the 13th seed from the America East Conference, the Vermont Catamounts, with 19 wins. And now the number 6 seed, the DePaul Blue Demons, come into the tournament 5th in their conference during the regular season and were semifinalists in their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, who came in 1st in their conference tournament, finishing at 23 and 8. The Illinois Fighting Illini are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Blue Devils of Central Connecticut State, with 18 wins. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Tennessee Volunteers have established themselves as one of the best teams from the SEC. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Seton Hall Pirates, with 19 wins. This is their 12th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. Our number 2 seed is from the SEC. The Kentucky Wildcats were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They're going to play the number 15 seed, Alabama A&M's Bulldogs, who came in 1st in their conference tournament, finishing at 21 and 13. It's the first question every selection Sunday. Which is the toughest bracket? Well, this bracket looks to me like it wins that prize this year. Not only are the top seeds strong, the lower seeds can be dangerous as well. On to our 3rd bracket of the day. Let's take a look at the Midwest Regional. The Georgetown Hoyas are the top seed, finishing at 25 and 9. They finished 3rd in the Big East. They'll take on the Buffalo Bulls, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their first appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. Our number 8 seed is from the ACC. The Boston College Eagles were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio, who were regular season champions in their conference, finishing at 22 and 7. The Charlotte 49ers are in as the number 5 seed. They'll be taking on the number 12 seed, the UNC Greensboro Spartans, with 21 wins. Louisville enters the field as the number 4 seed from the Big East. It's yet another appearance in the brackets for a school that's no stranger to the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the San Diego State Aztecs. Finished the season with 17 wins.
The Louisville Cardinals is a team to consider when you're filling out your bracket. They've been through so much this year. Adversity typically helps a team become a championship team. I wouldn't be surprised to see them put it all together over the next few weeks and become the focal point of this competition.
Arizona comes in as the number 6 seed, finishing at 20 and 12. And they take on the 11th seed from the Sun Belt Conference, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, with 22 wins. And now the number 3 seed, the Wisconsin Badgers, come into the tournament after finishing 2nd in their conference during the regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 14 seed, the Cornell Big Red, who came in 1st in their conference tournament, finishing at 16 and 12. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Oregon Ducks have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Pac-10. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Kansas State Wildcats, with 21 wins. They return once more to the very familiar surroundings of the NCAA tournament. Michigan State comes in as the number 2 seed, finishing at 25-8. Montana State comes in to face them at number 15 with 16 wins in the tournament and regular season championships of the Big Sky. I think this could wind up being the bracket that brings us this year's Cinderella story. A few of the higher seeds here have had terrific seasons, and I'll be surprised if at least one of them doesn't put together a long run in this tournament. And finally, let's have a look at the West Regional. The Connecticut Huskies are the top seed, finishing at 24-8. They were winners of the regular season championship in the Big East. They'll take on the Tigers of the Pacific, the number 16 ranked team. This is their 9th appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. Next up is the number 8 seed. The Iowa State Cyclones have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Big 12. They'll be going up against the number 9 seed, the Boston University Terriers, with 24 wins. This marks their 7th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. Kansas comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 20-9. And they will take on the 12th seed from Conference USA, the Memphis Tigers, with 21 wins. Clemson comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 20-9. Rider comes in to face them at number 13 with 17 wins in the tournament championship of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Our number 6 seed is from the SEC. The Mississippi State Bulldogs had a tremendous year that included a regular season championship. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Jacksonville Dolphins, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 21-10. The Texas Longhorns are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Winthrop Eagles, with 19 wins. And now the number 7 seed, the LaSalle Explorers, come into the tournament 5th in their conference during the regular season and were winners of their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who were 5th in their conference, finishing at 19-11. Cal enters the field as the number 2 seed from the Pac-10. This marks their 16th appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 15 seed, the Colgate Raiders, finished the season with 16 wins.
The California Golden Bears will be an extremely dangerous team in this tournament, mainly because they have such terrific veteran leadership. Coaches love when they have guys on the floor that have been around the block a few times because they don't get rattled. They play with composure. I look at the experience of this team as something that could put them over the top.
This bracket has the potential to give us a sensational matchup in the regional final if everything goes according to form and the top 2 seeds can survive the early rounds. What are your thoughts on our top 16 seeds, Clark?
Maybe I haven't agreed with the selection committee every year, but I think they did a great job this time. The top 16 looked just about right to me. Illinois
is a team that I just don't see going very far in this tournament. They have a number of holes that they can't cover up and that other teams will exploit.
Now, let's see how the conference representation fares. The Big East gets 8 teams. The Pac-10 with 6. 6 out of the Big 12. The SEC gets 16.
What a down year for the non-power conferences. We're used to seeing at least one of those conferences compete on the level of the power conferences, but not this year.
And let's not forget the teams out of the America East Conference. For a small conference, they competed at a very high level this year. Those teams could be the place to look if you're trying to find a Cinderella story in the tournament.
I'm surprised there were so few bids for the teams in the Mountain West Conference. It was an especially disappointing year for that conference. Usually you can count on a few of the nation's elite teams coming out of there, but this was a season where very few of those teams could maintain any type of positive momentum.
Let's come back to the bubble teams that we mentioned earlier in the show and see which of the teams were able to get into the tournament.
Seton Hall is going to sleep a lot better tonight than they did last night, Greg. I wasn't sure they were going to get that invitation, but they snuck in through the back door. Now we'll see if they make the most of it.
While they start prepping for their first-round games, the 5 teams on the other side of the page will be full-time students again.
Georgia Tech can look back at their schedule this year if they're looking for a reason they got snubbed. They played very few difficult teams outside their conference, and the strategy backfired on them.
All right, Clark, now that we know all the teams and matchups, time to get the tournament underway and let the madness take over.
Greg, it's going to be a fantastic tournament. We've got an outstanding field and a lot of sensational players. I guarantee there are some memorable moments soon to come.
For my partner Clark Kellogg and for all of us here in the 2K Sports Studios, I'm Greg Gumbel. Thanks for joining us on the NCAA Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Enjoy all the excitement of the NCAA tournament.